Hi there, and welcome back to Lorena's Labyrinth. As you can see, we're trialing a whole new format here, just part of trying to keep the interest and also simply trying to be creative. Let me know your thoughts on the music and the way we've actually built it in today, because we're trialing and testing all the time, just using our creative. Anyway, where I need to go or explain to you is I've been a little under the weather this week and I've had to take some time out for self care. Hence, I haven't been able to deliver on some of my promises, if you like, for the last week. But anyway, we do have some news, and just letting you know, I am committed to loading this particular style of video, the yarning, every Sunday. I do hope this week has been kind to you. So, without further ado, let's move on. So, my priority over the last week, in between taking some time out for recovery, has been to focus on delivering the video on mental health and psychological well-being, because this is a fundamental underpinning, if you like, for the channel. I feel that we need to have those in place. And of course, my associate in Italy has been focused on trying to fix the YouTube stuff with aura and chakra content. Anyway, where I'm going with this is before I could load the videos that I just referred to, it was really quite time consuming. It became bigger than Ben Hur. I hadn't realized that when I was doing it that, yeah, absolutely, as a matter of ethics and integrity of content, I had to put certain things in place. So what I've done is I've actually broken that video down now into a couple, so it's a series. I would encourage people, if you've got time, to read all of them, because the content that I deliver is very, very useful, practical stuff. It does offer explanations. There are reference sources, and there's also strategies to manage and maintain health and well-being across all of them. But anyway, if you're interested, click the bell to be notified. I really hope that you will do. So, one of the videos, when I talk about integrity of content in regard to mental health, it kind of would be remiss if I didn't actually acknowledge and refer to the brain chemistry and the chemical compounds of, if you like, of the body and physiology. This really ugly image that kind of looks like a bunch of spiders actually is supposed to, I think, represent neurons. But anyway, it was a fascinating slide and I thought I would put it on there. So there will be a video talking about how chemicals impact on health. And of course, we get our chemicals through our water and our dietary sources. So I think you might find that interesting. In one of these videos, as part of this series, I also look at neuroscience and just briefly introduce people to it. I'm certainly not an expert, but I love it because I believe that it offers people information that really supports recovery in positive ways, especially if there's been a lot of trauma. So I've put in some content so that people can understand how the brain works. I've done it in a very light way. It's not a hugely heavy video, but it is vital from a psychological and health perspective, because in my experience, working with people, this content actually helps them to feel better about themselves and really fast tracks the recovery process. So I've dedicated an entire video to this subject, and it's only going to be about 20 minutes, I think, with a bit of luck. So the final video in this series will actually be the mental health first aid. And I would encourage, once again, people to watch it. The reason being, I don't, I'm going to be straight up with this. I don't care if you're spiritual and whether you're skeptical about this particular content, because it swings both ways. You've got the people that are scientists that think that the people that are spiritual are just like bats. And then you've got the spiritual people that go, well, I will rely totally on spirit and energy, and I'm not interested in mainstream. Well, I can tell you, I probably used to be originally the scientific one, then I blew over to the spiritual. So if we're talking about having a balance, I certainly didn't have a balanced viewpoint. But what I can tell you is that um, before I studied my study, or before I studied my studies, before I started my university studies, I thought that I understood words like balance and power of the mind. But I can now say in hindsight, actually, I did not. I thought I did, but I didn't. And it was through my studies that I was able to link it all together and recognize where those gaps were. And balance actually includes a balance of the scientific stuff with the spiritual stuff. So the other reason that I would recommend people watch this is, regardless of whether you're scientific or spiritual based, you're going to learn some strategy here that I've spent thousands trying to get through my studies, but you actually get it for free. And I have seen it work very well. So mental health first aid is just like first aid treatment of a physical injury. You've got to stop the bleeding, apply some technique and strategy to it, and help the person basically get back to being healthy. But anyway, that's that. Moving on. So we did manage to complete a new video on energy and vibration to introduce the subject to people that aren't aware of it. You might find it interesting. It's not hugely long, but it's on the YouTube channel. We haven't loaded anything onto Rumble yet, but that's coming. So my poor Italian colleague, associate, they actually got tasked with this because, of course, I've got the limitations here from technology. Anyway, what they've done is they've revisited all of the chakra stuff with the Solfeggio. Excuse me, coughing. And this includes the full length colour healing video. Now, we may have had the chapters go out of alignment. So if you're looking at any of them, please feel free to let us know and we can update the description. It would really be helpful. Thank you, because it's a big chore. But anyway, we should have ironed out all the glitches with this content now. So, oh my goodness me, I hope so. So, just to reiterate, yes, we do still have technological problems. We're hoping that we're on top of it. But if you see something and we've missed it, please let us know. We will not be offended. Okay, we would really appreciate feedback. Anyway, thank you for that. Moving on. So, speaking of technology, I have actually had a positive outcome, certainly from a creative perspective. I have learned, while I have, if you like, been held back from doing the videos, and largely that was because I actually didn't want to have to talk, because obviously when you're unwell and doing a little bit of recovery, it's very difficult to sound vibrant and like you actually are enthused or excited about what you're doing. So I took a little bit of time out, and instead of working on the videos, I actually found this AI tool, and I have been having a ball. I've been designing so many different images, and I'm going to share a couple with you, and I'll be sharing them with you regularly. Your feedback is welcome, what you'd like to see me design, because it's just so much fun, and I aim to create stuff that speaks to a person's soul. So, of course, I'm still fine tuning how I work with the technology, but here's some of the first examples. And this one on the right, of course, is meant to be Archangel Raphael. He received very positive feedback on the platform. The one on the left I was hoping would be the Angel of Peace. She hasn't turned out quite as I would have liked, but she was a good start, I thought. So I'm just going to do a little bit of waffling and talk you through what I'm putting up on the screen here so it stays there longer for you to be able to have a look at. I have been spending a lot of time on the fairies because they are part of all cultures, really. So I've now got a couple of collections of them. And what I've tried to do with my collection is actually, well, obviously these aren't fairies. You've got Green Man and you've got a really different version of Robin Hood. That was not what I was trying to create. I just figured it was a pretty image to put up. But anyway, I've tried to include all sorts of cultures. I'm just going to show you some of the other work I've been doing. So here's a couple of other images that were part of my first lot of design. With this, I was actually trying to create the green man and green woman. Obviously not successfully, because we are relying on the AI here. But I'm really happy with both of these images. I think they're just stunning. So I hope you like them as well. This, of course, speaks to my Irish ancestry. I have an entire series and collection of flower fairies with different cultures. Like I've got Chinese people, I've got Indonesian, I've got Spanish, Mexican, Native Americans. I've really tried to have a lot of variety there, but I think that they're actually coming out fairly stunning, actually. Leave a comment on your favourite. So I haven't really started on the ocean themes yet. I've had a little bit of a play. I haven't been super happy with what I've created yet, but I've been focused on the fairy collections. But I will say I actually did a Kid Neptune, sorry, who it was Oh my God. He was so unfit and flabby and coming out the water. Yeah, not all of it's pretty, shall we say. I have got a collection of the Chinese zodiac, I had so much fun doing this. This one's not fairies. The Chinese zodiac, I've included themes for things like Year of the Dog and stuff like that. So I put this one on because I think this has just come up beautiful and I think the dog looks gorgeous. And then, of course, you've got your little fairy on the side. She's so dainty. I really like that one. So I've got a collection. I'm still working on these ones. When I say these ones, I'm, of course, referring to that beautiful little childlike fairy with the dragonfly wings. I'm still working on a collection there. So while I've been talking about the astrology content and loading it for one reason or another, like last week, having the time out, it's been held back. Well, actually, now I'm going to hold it back a bit longer because I am creating new artwork. This is one of the images I've come up with Taurus, and if you look at it, you'll actually see she's got an extra finger there on her hand. Well, I now know how to get rid of the fingers and fix that up. So I'm going to do a whole new set of horoscope pictures or astrology pictures. So I really hope you like them. So I'm also holding back the numerology content because at the end of the day, I kind of feel there's a responsibility associated with that because we're talking about life path challenges, personality traits, and all of that kind of thing with a good numerology chart at least. It can actually trigger and stir up some stuff for people. And this is why I consider before I start doing the numerology content and other, that I need to have this mental health stuff up, especially to give people strategy on managing any symptoms of distress. So that's what's going on there, just for your information. So I know that loading content has been a very long and slow process on this channel, and I do thank you for your patience and commitment to the channel. I've pretty well covered through this video what you can expect to be happening here over the next couple of days, but beyond that, all I can do is reconfirm that I am going to be loading content that is directed purely for the spirit, soul, and mind, that uplifting stuff. And it's not as dull as the content that I'm currently loading because, look, I agree. Some people might find it dull. I'm so not offended. Okay, I love things that have a bit of a scientific background to it as well, such as the anatomy of the brain. But I've got to say, doing a presentation on it is actually quite challenging and dull for me too, because I have to go and research the content, load it up, that kind of stuff, because I need to make sure that what I'm offering or putting up here is as correct as it can be at any given time. So I feel a little bit like a broken record, and it's not helped when I've got to actually record my voice. That just can get a bit monotone and dreary for me as well. So if it comes across that way, I do apologise. But I am definitely very enthusiastic about all things artistic as well. So I think I've managed to find that balance there, and this should bode well going forward. So stay tuned. Thanks for being here. I look forward to catching up and sharing with you in another couple of days, perhaps. But for now, my friends, have a blessed day, a week, and thank you for visiting. Take care. See you soon. Bye.